All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Wholesaling the Cool Way. I'm Jasper Cool here with my dad, Mark Cool. And on this show, we like to break down our respective businesses, typically the past week in business, what we've learned, what's working for us, what isn't working, victories and challenges. And typically, we started off with some inspiration, which could be anything books, podcasts, videos, anything else like that that we consumed over the past week that was inspiring. So, do you want to start us off with that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we were just talking before we started recording about the NBA. So we're both basketball fans, and I watched the game last night with the Nuggets and the Timberwolves game one, and that was really inspiring to see Anthony Edwards stepping up and seeing the whole team and the coaches figuring out how to deal with the reigning champions.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see Anthony Edwards step up to a big moment and really be unafraid and be ready for it. That was very cool. Um, so as far as other stuff that's not NBA related, I was doing some rowing this morning on the rowing machine I just got, and I put in my headphones this. I've been wanting to revisit Chris Naugle. You remember who he is, Jasper, the guy with the life insurance stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's this guy Chris Naugle, Naugle, and he teaches about basically being your own bank and using life insurance policies for that, and how it was figured out like 150 years ago by like the really wealthy people like the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts and Carnegies, like, oh, banks aren't necessarily safe for us, they collapse, let's find a better way to protect our wealth. And they started using these like, I think it's called whole, I can't remember the vehicle, but it's a life insurance policy. You basically put your money there and you be your own bank, and it's growing. You can borrow money from it, you can put money back into it, and your wealth grows, but it's protected and safe, and you have a lot more control over it. So I wanted to listen to that again and refresh, because it's something it's been on my list to do ever since I first listened to him on Real Estate Disruptors, and I listened to him on what's his name, the other guy who often is on Real Estate Disruptors. What's this guy's name?
Jerry Norton.
Uh, Say it again.
Was it Jerry Norton?
No, RJ Bates the third.
Okay.
He's got one called the Titanium Vault. So he was on RJ Bates' podcast. But so yeah, it's just cool to listen to him break it down, how it works, and it's inspiring, and it's something I definitely want to do. So for anybody who wants, and it's cool because you can, I mean, I've forgotten this about it, but you can loan yourself money, and it's against your ultimate payout. So it actually doesn't diminish the cash balance that you have. Like if you had $100,000 policy or $100,000 in your policy and your payout was $1 million, and you took out 100,000 to buy a property, you'd still have $100,000 in your policy. It would be taken against the $1 million that you'd be your ultimate payout. So
Mm,
you'd basically borrow it from the policy, pay back the policy, but you'd still have $100,000 available, even though you borrowed $100,000. So that's one of the
yeah.
cool things about it. It's really it's a hack for finance, and I want to like this year get more into that and maybe get that set up because it's pretty cool. Other than that, I'm reading still the Pickleball Mindset book by Dane Gingrich, and I think Jill Thomas is his co-author. But it's good about mindset for winning in pickleball, but overall, just mentality of like self-talk, visualization. Um, they do this idea called pre-acceptance, like trying to think of all the things that could go wrong or might go wrong or could occur during a match, and put those out in advance, so you're pre-accepting them, so you're not like, oh my god, it's windy today, oh my god, I missed this shot or whatever it is, because you've already thought like, hey, I might miss some shots, it might be windy, the sun might be really hot, whatever. You've already put that stuff out there, so if it comes up, you're like, yeah, I've already accepted I'm just going forward. So just cool
Mm,
concepts around managing competitive play, which is something I'm into. I'm getting more competitive with pickleball right now because I
yeah.
love it. So anyway, it translates to a lot of areas, but some cool like mental game hacks in that book. So yeah, I think that's all I've got for inspiration and education right now.
Awesome. Let's see. I had quite a few things that I saw this week that I liked. So I guess I could touch on a few things quickly. One of them I listened to Austin Zabak. He was on the Investor Lift podcast, and I really enjoyed that one. He was one of the first people I ever listened to when I was trying to learn about wholesaling. I just heard about what it even was. I didn't even know what it was. And I remember he did a interview with Max Maxwell like, years ago when I first started looking into this. And I was just super inspired by him because he was like around the same age as me, and he was living in Scottsdale and just already crushing it in wholesaling. And so it was cool to hear like kind of an update on him because I hadn't heard about him in a while. But he just shared how, he started wholesaling by himself, way back then when I first found him, and he found some success. And then he partnered up with Cody Sperber, the clever investor, and they had like a co or a partner business, whatever, for a while, and then they split up and he started over and with another partner, and then he said that one didn't work either, and then I think he's on like his fourth rebuild now or something, but this time it's like really cranking for him and it's really working. And it was cool to hear about that, just like how much volume they're doing. And they were sharing because Investor Lift is the disposition platform that they have for wholesaling, and they were sharing that he has like 30 deals on there right now. They sell like 3 deals per day on
Wow.
Investor Lift, and I think he said he did like 1,500 deals so far this year. So I was just super inspired by that. And it's
Wonder
it's
what his
all it's all credit.
overhead is.
Yeah, it's all credit to his team, and he has a really cool setup, which is he has one department that all they focus on is doing JV deals with wholesalers. So that's all they do all day, every day. They reach out to wholesalers, and these guys work nationwide. They're based here, but they work nationwide. And so that's all they do is they reach out to wholesalers all day, every day, and they try to do JV deals. And then they have another department, same thing, but realtors. So all they do all day long is try to get deals from realtors. And then his third department is just what we're doing, traditional wholesaling, where they're marketing for sellers and they're trying to get contracts that way by doing their own marketing. And then the fourth department is just selling all of the deals that the other three departments get. So just a full dispositions department. And he's cranking, he's doing 2 or 3 deals a day and looking to grow that. It's just super cool. And that's just wholesale. He also has a brokerage, so they list a lot of properties too. But I don't
Wow.
know, I was super inspired by that. And I think he's 28 or something. So it just inspires me to do bigger things, think bigger and grow the team bigger. So it's really cool. Really cool to hear
What
that.
podcast was he on?
It was on the Investor Lift. Like they started a YouTube channel and they started a podcast. And so it's just if you look up Investor Lift podcast, then I'm sure you'll find it. But yeah, I really like that one. And then I'll share, I guess, another one quickly, but it was kind of along the similar vein. It was Jerry Norton. I watched a talk that he gave at like a conference or something, and I really enjoyed that because he was talking about he was out at dinner with his wife and some of their old friends, which were friends of theirs when they were living in Michigan before they were like very successful. And he was working construction and stuff. And he said his friends asked a question like, what changed? Like, how are you so successful now? We used to work in the same job. Like, what changed for you that you just, it's light years ahead of where they are, I guess. And he was like, well, I just kind of gradually stair step my way up and just started doing a couple $1,000 deals, like small little deals in Detroit, and then gradually moved up to bigger, like more expensive homes, and then, gradually moved up to $1 million homes and all stuff. And he said his wife stopped him and she was like, no, that's not it. She was like, you gradually increased your risk tolerance. And that's what allowed you to grow exponentially. And so that's what his talk was about. It was just about making a conscious effort to increase your risk tolerance month over month, year over year, so that you can eventually, just do bigger and bigger deals. And he was sharing he's been in real estate, I think like 15 to 20 years, somewhere in there. And he said for the longest time, he was stuck doing $5,000 deals in Detroit. That was like 3, 4 years. He was stuck doing that. And he just couldn't get his mind past it. And then he was like, okay, well, wait, I'm doing 50,000 to $100,000 homes. What if I do $200,000 homes? Then I can make more money. So then he finally did that, started making 10, 15K a deal. And then he was like, wait a second, how would I do $500,000 homes? And then he started doing that and started making 50K on deals. And then, he moved to Arizona and all this stuff, and he started doing $1 million homes, and he started making $100,000 profit on deals. And he was like, he just gradually did that. And then he said he got stuck again when he started doing like $1 to $3 million type properties, like flipping those type properties, building those type properties. He said he got stuck again because he was making one to $200,000 a deal, and it was like great living. He was having fun, but he realized he got stuck again. He was like, okay, I need to level up again. And so then he built his first spec home that was like $5 million or something. And he said he lost a couple hundred thousand on that deal. He did not do well at all. And then he said he built another one and he like barely broke even on that one. And then his third home that he sold for like 6 million, he made like $1 million, I think $1.2 million in profit on that one deal.
Wow.
Um, and then he said when he did that, he went and bought himself like a lake house in Montana. And he shared actually that he sold the house for like six something million. And then a year later, the person who bought it sold it for 8 million. And then a year later, they sold it for 12 million. And so he was like, if I just held on for 3 more years, then I would have made, 3x the money. But
Wow.
anyways, that was the gist of the talk. I'm going kind of long-winded, but I like that, and it was good for me to hear too because I need to, I think, start doing that and buying some more deals. Like I do it when it's a really good deal, but I think I need to consciously make an effort to like, okay, I need to start buying at least one deal a month, and maybe even flipping it or just like cleaning it out and listing it, but doing something like that where it's stretching out of my comfort zone, not just doing the same wholesale deals all the time. So it was a good challenge for me for sure. So that's it.
Nice. Which
Yeah.
podcast was he on?
He just posted on his YouTube channel, so I watched it. But
Okay.
I think he was at Pace Morby's event actually. But it was just like
Oh
a
yeah.
presentation that he gave them. He posted on his channel, so I watched that.
Pace Morby, one of the best self promoters in real estate.
Yeah. Hmm. But yeah. So we can switch on over to business check-in. So you want to kick us off with that?
Sure. Yeah. Oops. I closed out my document because the computer was skipping. I have my stuff on a Google Doc, my notes.
All right.
Let me pull it up real quick. I have to get a new computer. One does not have the capacity that I need.
Yeah.
And so, for some reason, Zoom is taking up more bandwidth than like Google Meet does. So
Oh yeah.
it's causing more issues. So yeah, we had a pretty good week. I guess the highlights are we did a couple of we had a couple new contracts. We sold a couple. That's great. We've gotten sort of back on track after we had sort of a little bit of a slump. Well, we had a lot of a slump actually. The last deal we closed was March 14th. So, you know, that's a month and a half ago, which is crazy because we closed, 40, 46, 48 deals last year, which is about four a month. So, not that I want to close the greatest number of deals. I just want to be closing money, making money.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit in a scary place. Now we have, a couple deals in escrow. I think we sold two last week and then two this week. So that's four deals in escrow, which is, I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I sold two this week, two contracts. We're continuing to get lots of quality leads and make offers. We're making like 30, somewhere in the 30 to 40 offers a week range, which is good. When we're in Deal Lab, Matt says that, we should be making like 6 offers a day per lead manager, which is roughly what we're doing. So we just have one lead manager working right now. So yeah, two sold. That was a building lot and a 7-acre lot. And the building lot we sold very quickly. We got it in our system, and then we didn't even do any marketing. We reached out to a couple VIP buyers that we have in that area, and they both made offers on it, and we took the higher offer and went in escrow, and I think they're closing in like 7 days. So
Sweet.
that was great to have one like that that's, flows easily. I don't know. I'm not going to open up my Podio because the computer is moving slowly, like when we got it and everything. But this was a recent campaign. I think it was like campaign contract sold was very fast. I think it's,
Yeah.
like
That's great.
2 weeks from the campaign launch, we're under contract. And then, in another 2 weeks, we'll be closing. So that's always a blessing when
Yeah.
that happens. And then this other one was a 7-acre lot. We've had some issues with, we had, it's 7 acres out in the country, but it seems like the only access you have to go by the seller's house. And so we had the seller get very upset with us, and I had to get on the phone with him and try and talk him down. And then I think somebody went around us and went to the seller and told him that we had the property up on Facebook Marketplace, which we did. And he called and got really upset and was like, I can't believe you put my address on the internet, blah, 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 this and that. And so I was afraid we were going to lose this deal. And then I think I've talked him down and he's good. And we asked him if we could send one last person over there, and made an appointment with him, told him when it was going to happen. And we sent the guy over because he was like, yeah, I'm buying this property. Absolutely. I just want to do a final walk, around the property. And then he backed out, the
Oh
buyer. And so
no.
I had painted myself into a corner with this seller because I told him this was the very last one because this guy was so gung ho on buying this property. So we got really lucky this week and we found another buyer who wants it. He knows the area. I think he's seen it previously, so he didn't have to go out there. And we're under contract with him on that. So that was a big
Nice.
relief. And we've had this property under contract for probably 6 weeks. So it's getting to that point where, it's the seller's getting impatient and wondering, what's going on. And so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And then the contracts, we got two building lots, vacant land this week. I went sort of backtracked and reemphasized vacant land a few weeks ago because we'd had so many houses that were in various stages of delay because of tenants or this or that. So I was like, we need to get some land deals in the hopper that we can sell and close just to keep cash coming in while we're waiting for these bigger ticket deals to
Hmm.
close. So yeah, so these are decent. Like all these land deals we do, we set our minimum at 8K for a land deal now. So most of them are between 8 and 15 is what we're profiting on those. Uh, so that's good. And then we didn't have any closings this week, obviously, because I mentioned the last closed deal was in March, and we just put 4 deals in escrow in the last 2 weeks. So no closings. I didn't track the offers, or I didn't pull them up on my team posts them in our Slack thread. But again, we're at roughly 6 per day. So, like 35 to 40 offers a week is roughly what we've been doing. I did get some monthly numbers, so I'll just share these quickly for people who are interested in stuff like this. So, like I said, our business, we did like 48 deals last year. So that's an average of 4 closings a month. And so just to give you a benchmark, we have, how many people do we have on our team? We have 5 people besides me on our team. 42,000 SMS sent this week. We got 155 leads from SMS. That's 113 for the land campaigns and 42 for the houses. We got about 70 leads from cold callers this month. So, like 225 leads ish, 230 leads, which is funny. You'll listen to Jasper's KPIs and he does this in a week, but we do this in a month and we do pretty well. Everybody's got their own benchmarks, but yeah. And so we sent out 120 offers. We got 10 contracts, and that's 3 houses and 7 land for that was for April. So I guess 120 offers sent and 10 contracts. What's that percentage? So it's less than 10%. It's like 8% or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's our KPIs for the month of April. And
Nice.
then if I roll on to challenges, I had a seller this week that my acquisitions person asked me to talk to lock him down because it was a subject to deal. So I felt like I built a good rapport with him. We talked a couple of times. He asked me to send him over the contract ready to sign this week, and then he talked to his attorney and called me back and said he changed his mind. And his attorney advised him to hold on to the property. So that was low, just as far as the profit on the deal is really big. So maybe that's why the attorney told him to hold on to it, because we were going to make a good chunk, or we were, had the potential to make a good chunk. So we are taking it over subject to and giving him the money he wanted out of it. And then we had a loan, but a lot of meat on the bone there for us.
Hmm.
So that was a challenge or a disappointment. And he said, they're gonna at least keep it till the end of the year and then reassess in January. So I'll follow up with them in January or December
Yeah.
even. And then I created a situation where I'm going to court on Monday for an eviction, so I'm not excited about that. I'm doing it. It's for a property that we bought subject to, and the tenants, haven't paid rent since December of last year, and they haven't been very communicative. And I just decided that I did not want to mess around with the tenant and give them a chance to move and all this stuff. I was like, screw it, we're just going to file this eviction. And I chose not to do the attorney route because we didn't have an attorney in Cumberland. I would have had to look for an attorney, or my team find an attorney, build a relationship, put down a deposit, get them going. It was like, this is going to take, I don't know this, but sometimes it takes a long time to get that whole thing going and start a new relationship with an attorney. And then they have their schedule and they might not be able to go to court for a month or two. You never know what's going to happen. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to get this deal moving forward. So I was like, okay, I'll show up at court. It's not a big deal, but it's feeling like a big deal to me right now. Cause I'm like, oh God, I've got to print all this paper out and like get a suit on and go to court and drive down there and show up and all this stuff. But
Yeah.
I guess the upside is that I think a lot of tenants don't show up to these things. So if the tenant doesn't show up, then we win. But if the tenant does show up, then I have to present my case to the judge and just try and keep it simple. But not something I want to do on a regular basis. But this deal is like I said, our business has been in a crunch where we need cash flow, and this is a deal where we can make like 40K on it. So I want to get things moving forward, get the tenants out of there so we can get inspections and do some minor repairs and get it sold. Got it on the MLS already. So that's a low for me, but it'll be over tomorrow once I go to court. So I can let you all know how that went next week. And then I had a couple other sellers who ghosted. One guy, he keeps playing the game of, oh, I'll give you a call first of the week. And then he doesn't call me. And then I call him 3 times and he doesn't pick up my calls or answer my texts. And then my acquisitions person got him on the phone using the ghost protocol. And he was like, oh yeah, I've just been really busy and my wife's been ill, and I'll give Mark a call first of the week. And so had that kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
And we already have, actually, we do what we call a stealth campaign in our business, or a coming soon. Like, we get a property and we know we've got a verbal with the seller, but we're not sure of the market or whatever. We'll reach out to a few VIPs and say, hey, what would you pay for a deal like this? And then they'll tell us. And so we've got this one of our VIP buyers who's chomping at the bit. He keeps asking us like, hey, when's this deal coming? When can I go see this? When's this deal coming? We'll buy it. We'll pay cash. We'll close in 10 days. So we got that. And then I've got the seller ghosting me. So it's been frustrating. Because it's like, it'll be an easy, I don't know what the profit is on it, but it's like 20 or 30 K profit. And all we have to do is get the seller we've already agreed to the terms. I've sent him the contract. He said he's ready to go, but I don't know if he's talking to other buyers or if he's really telling the truth that his wife has, had mental health stuff that he's dealing with. I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
he used to pick up my call every time I called him, and now he's not. So that's not a good sign for me.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating. And then other than that, we had an issue with our website contractor. We're revamping our website. I think I checked in about this last week, so I don't want to be whiny about it, but just had, we had some miscommunication about what the project was going to cost and what the scope of the project was. So my part is, maybe I didn't communicate clearly. The people are in India, so maybe it's a little bit of a communication gap with language barrier, but they're asking us for a lot more money than I expected to pay for the website. So we're kind of at an impasse, and I have the full website design that I like ready to go, but I don't want to pay them what they're telling me I need to pay them. So we're in a
Yeah.
standoff right now, but I have the design, so I can take and get somebody else. So I may do that, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my victories and challenges. Like I said, the upside is our business is humming. Ever since I had a team meeting and said, "Hey guys, we've been in a slump. We need to get something going," and we just really talked about what everybody needed to do. And the team, pitched in about like, "Hey, yeah, maybe we should go back to land a little bit since we're good at that, and do a few, keep houses going, but just get back to land so we can get the cash flow, and then houses take longer." So that's been
Yeah.
good. And we're back. It feels like the business is humming, and we're back on track to move toward our revenue goals.
Nice.
And that feels good. That's the headline for me. But
Awesome.
yeah, I'm open to any feedback you have on any of the challenges, but I don't need it unless you had something come up for you when I was talking.
Well, uh,
I mean, it's, going to court, it's sellers ghosting, which we deal with all the time,
yeah.
and it's a website thing, which what are you going to do? It's miscommunication. Just have to handle it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can switch over.
Okay. Yeah, on the ghosting seller, well, I guess he's not totally ghosting you, but we've started like when people bring up that objection, we'll try to overcome it in other ways. But also if people keep saying like, oh, well, I gotta talk to my wife, or I gotta talk to my attorney or whatever, be like, okay, well, what if we add a provision in the contract that says this is subject to whoever they say review within 48 hours of signing. And then if they don't approve of the contract, we'll rip it up. And if they do, we can move forward. How does that sound? And that's worked for us. So,
Yeah, it's like a Hormozy technique.
yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you in case you haven't tried that before. But that's worked for us lately on the attorney objection, because sometimes the sellers are just lying when they say attorney objection. Sometimes they actually do have an attorney. But either way, attorneys do move fairly slow. So typically we'll do 48 hours, sometimes 72 hours. But like, how does that sound if we get this in writing today, and if your attorney doesn't like it, then we can rip it up. And if they do, or if they have a couple of revisions, we can just make those changes and move forward. And we've gotten a couple signed from doing that. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah. Ooh, alrighty. Well, we can switch over then. Um, let's see. Guess I'll start with KPIs. I like that you did your monthly KPIs. I could do that as well, if that would be helpful for anyone. Let me just pull that up real quick. So for April, we got 581 leads in April. We got 13 coming from PPC, which is, Google AdWords that we're running. We got 337 coming from text. We got 96. Well, I guess I should combine all three of these. So we got, let's see, 231 come from cold calling. I have three different agencies, so I'll just add those up. But so 231 from cold calling, 337 from text, and 13 from PPC. So that's our breakdown of the channels that our leads are coming from. And then 581 leads that yielded us 11 contracts. So I don't know what that ratio is, but um, that sounds like
Like
one.
0.5%.
Yeah, I think that sounds like 1 in 50. So that's a bit low, honestly. Uh, but those those are the numbers there. And then yeah,
It's 0.2%, 0.02%. Really? Is that right? No, it's 1%. Wait, 11 divided by 581 says it's 2%.
okay. Well, yeah, I guess it's like 1 in 50 or so. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's gonna be worse for houses than it is for um for land, which we do
definitely, definitely.
because we've
That's a little
got
higher. That's a little higher than I'd like to see, but one of the things that I should probably like start tracking is that we have a lot of leads coming in, obviously, every week, but I would say at least 50% of those leads are leads that are coming in either via cold call or text that are interested, but they're not right now type leads, because we just push
yeah
those through. We just push those through. We don't leave them in launch control, and we don't, leave them if they're cold call. We don't let them hang up. So I should probably crunch those numbers so I could share with people listening, and with you and myself. What's a more like realistic number? But that's like all things included. That's my numbers. But I would say about half of our
yeah
leads that come in are leads that we're following up within anywhere from 1 to 3 months in the future. So uh,
yeah we've started to do that to push everything from launch control into Podio and follow up there instead of in launch control.
yeah.
Yeah, I could do an SMS check-in too because I did a big SMS thing this week. I could check in after you're done. I forgot to
Okay.
mention.
Yeah, well, I'll just share my weekly KPIs as well, and then yeah, we can do SMS check-in. It's a good
Well,
idea.
I was gonna say one other thing though is like I think your offers to contracts ratio is going to be more of an indicator of your success than your leads based on what you're saying, right? Like, what's your percentage of accepted offers is more. I mean, they all matter, but
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
offers to conversion at least tells you how your acquisitions team is doing.
Definitely. Yeah. And we touched on that in past episodes, but I think I probably do need to bring on one more team member soon to help make offers and follow up on offers that are being made. So, uh, but yeah, so weekly KPIs this week, we got 119 leads and 112 offers. So, that's pretty good. It's almost 100%. So I like
Yeah,
that. I like to see that. And this week was a bit slow. We only got one contract this week, which is actually fun because I ended up locking that one down yesterday. That was fun. Um, but my main guy Michael, he lost power on like midday Friday, and then lost power through Saturday. It's back on now. But so he was gonna call this lady, but he lost power, so I had to step in and shake off the rust, and we got the contract. So that feels good.
yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, it's something I haven't done in a long time. So that was kind of fun. She was a nice old lady. And so yeah, we got that lockdown. We got pictures and everything as well yesterday, which is awesome. So now we're ready to roll on that one tomorrow, get started marketing it. So I'm excited about
That's
that.
great.
And double whammy is it's a PPC lead. So it's very exciting for me every time we get a PPC contract because those are the most expensive leads by far. So that's exciting. Um, and yeah, so we got one contract, we sold one, and we didn't close one this week. So those are the weekly KPIs. And then for victories, I just shared that was a victory getting that contract. Victory selling this deal because I pushed out this deal. I thought it was a really good one. It was actually one I was considering buying, but then when I had my runner go out there, there's foundation issues. The crawl space is completely flooded, like literally standing water.
Oh wow.
Like it's not even a crawl space really. It's like a basement. Like there's steps down to it, and the doorway is probably 6 foot tall, and the water is up to that. And so when he showed me that, I was like,
Holy
yeah,
cow.
I don't want to buy this deal. So I was like, even though it's a good deal, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with that just in case like I get stuck with this house. Like I don't want to deal with that. So I ended up just pushing it out wholesale. And at first I was like freaking out because I got a couple offers coming in hot below my price, my contract price. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this was a good deal. And I really didn't want to let these sellers down because I'm kind of communicating through the son because it's like his elderly mother's property. And I really just wanted to get it closed and get it sold for her because she's got health bills that's why she's selling it because she's dealing with health issues and stuff. But anyways, long story
Yeah.
short, we did get it sold, and it was awesome for me because I like to sell deals really quick, and when I don't, sometimes I freak out, and I will accept an offer too quickly sometimes. So I'm working on that, but I try to slow down and just calm down. And because for me, this is like a week that it took to sell it, and for me, that's like a long time. So I didn't like that. But I slowed down, and like on the last day when I did sell it, I ended up getting four offers, like all within a couple thousand of each other. We ended up going with the highest one, but it ended up just like all working out. I didn't reduce the price or do anything like sometimes I do. Like sometimes I'll send a deal out, and then 2 days later I'll reduce the price and send it out again if I don't get any offers. But this time I didn't do that. I just followed up with everybody and we got an offer,
Good.
which wasn't at our asking price, but it was close. So that's good. And first time working with this buyer,
That's
so I'm
great.
excited to start working with this dude. And yeah, hopefully closing in about 2 weeks. So that's good. Um, and yeah, another victory. I found this new, I guess, pay per lead provider. It's called properlyleads.com if anybody wants to try it. Um, but they're a new, like, I think we've talked on this show before about one I used to use, which is called need to sell my house fast.com. Same idea, where they just run pay-per-click ads and then you basically buy leads. So you pay per lead rather than running your own campaign where you pay like a monthly fee direct to Google and stuff. So anyways, I tried need to sell my house fast in the past and I did get two deals from it, but the lead quality just seemed to really tank after that. And so I stopped that. But I just heard about this one from one of my friends that I met in CG, and he said he's really enjoying it. So I signed up. I really liked how easy it was to sign up. Like a lot of companies these days, when you try to sign up for their service, you have to book a call and you have to go through all these hoops, and I don't like that. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, so I appreciate that this company they have like a self onboarding option or whatever, and you can just sign up by yourself, which is really nice. So that pretty much sold me on them as well. But I signed up for them and already got our first lead, and it's like a good lead. So that's a good testament to their company already. And it's basically the same exact thing as Need to Sell My House Fast, but hopefully better lead quality, where you just go in there, you select which counties you're interested in, and then you can select how much you're willing to pay in that county, and they won't charge you above that amount. Like for example, if you want to only spend $150 on one lead in Durham, then that's how much you'll spend. And then you can set a monthly budget as well. So if you want to only spend $1,000, $2,000 a month, you can set that all that stuff up. So
That's
uh,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm gonna try them out and let you know how it goes. So I'm excited to try them out.
Cool.
Yeah, and so yeah, there's that. And uh, what else this week? Uh, I guess that's about it. Oh, I had one deal that had come back to me from a memo as well, and ended up JVing with these wholesalers because they had a contract on it after we did, but they already had a buyer and everything, so they ended up just JVing on it with me, and that's supposed to close next week, so I'm excited about that. That's a win.
So they got it under contract and then they tried to close and they couldn't because of your memo.
Yeah. And so these guys were total opposite of what I've recently dealt with, but they totally reached out to me. They're super sweet and they're like, hey, we saw your memo. We don't want to like try to go around you or anything like that. Like, can we just JV on this deal together? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so really cool. And not only that, but I think a good connection for me to have. These guys are doing a lot more volume than me. I think they're doing 20 plus deals a month. So really exciting to have that connection. And I'll probably return the favor and bring them more deals. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a victory. Hopefully closing that one next week. Um, and yeah, I guess that's it for this week. Yeah, it was kind of a slower week, but still managed to get some stuff done. So that was good.
Yeah.
Oh, you said SMS
Consistency.
checking.
That's the main thing,
Yeah,
keeping it going, right?
that's right. Yeah, so SMS check-in, I'll do that real quick. So right now on this account, these are this week's numbers. We are at 80 and 11, so 80% delivery and 11 response rate, and that's across follow-up and new campaigns. That's for this account. And then I'll go into my other one. And this is for launch control for anyone listening. This is launch control numbers. For my other account, I need to look into this much better for this past week, 84 and 16. So first one was 80 and
That's
11.
great.
This is 84 and 16. So those are good numbers. Um, and this is actually my newest account, so that's interesting. They had better numbers. So 84 and 16, 80 and 11, and then 81 and 11. So about the same. So that's where we're about at right now for anyone listening. So I guess that's about 80, low 80s, and maybe like 12% if you average them all three accounts. So that's where I'm at. What about you?
So you have three launch controls now?
Yeah.
You have three launch controls now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. And the newest one is working the best. That's what I just
So
saw.
yeah. So are you
And
on like the upper account on all of them on the whatever it is? I can't remember the elite or whatever it is, the next tier up.
no, so right now I'm on I think I don't even know what it's called either, but I'm on the highest tier on one account. So I send 5,000 texts per day on one account, 2,500 on another one, and 1,200 on another one. So that is, what is that? About 9,000, 8,700 per day that we send out.
How many per day? I'm sorry.
8,700 per day.
Well, yeah.
And
We're doing like 2,000 a day. So you're doing like four times what we're doing.
yeah. And the numbers are still looking good, so I'll share this for anyone listening. But this quarter, which has just been 1 month so far, we're at $33 per lead from text, which is pretty good. And in Q1, we were at $31, so pretty much the same so far. So I'm happy with that. That's about where we were last year. Last year we averaged anywhere from 25 to 35, depending on the month. And it did shoot up. I shared this before, but our cost per lead did shoot up to about $55 in Q4 of last year, and that's when we slowed down on text. but this year it's hovering right around that low 30s mark. So I'm happy with it right now.
Still way lower than direct mail.
Yeah, and way lower than PPC and cold calling for me. So it's
Yeah.
still our cheapest cost per lead
I've
on
got to calculate it for cold calling for me.
yeah.
I still don't have my reporting the way I want it to be on my dashboard. I just made a note about that actually when you are able to rip stuff off and I still don't have it where I want it. So it's a work
Yeah.
in progress. So what the big move we did this week is we decided to downgrade our launch control all the way to the very basic starter, or maybe the one above starter where we can send. I asked my SMS guy how many texts he needed per day to do the follow-up campaigns that he had in process and to respond to all the messages that would come from follow-ups. He said he needed 500 to 800 a day. So I did a plan that's like 20,000 texts per month. I think that might be the second tier, not the starter. But we were paying $1,400 a month for launch control, and now we're on a plan where we're paying $800 a month. So
Yeah.
and I think the starter one's like $400 or $500 a month. So we're in between the pro or wherever we were and the starter, whatever that next one is. And we're just using launch control right now to follow up with leads that we already have in their system. And we've switched wholesale over to Smarter Contact because we're getting much better response overall in Smarter Contact. So this is an about face from where I was like 3 or 4 months ago, where Smarter Contact was very buggy and we're having issues with it and we couldn't really use it. It's gotten much better, and they seem to have worked out the bugs. I think that Smarter Contact was started by a guy who is a real estate investor, and he started it because he wanted a better platform. So I think he's actually starting to get it to come around. So our response rate for the week in Smarter Contact is almost 17%, 16.65, and that's all on new campaigns. That's all. We haven't done any follow-up campaigns in Smarter Contact because we're doing what Jasper mentioned. We're pushing any lead who's interested, whether it's long-term or short-term, just gets pushed to our CRM. So they had some issues this week with carrier block rate and delivery rate. So we've been down this week, and that's something we flagged, and I think it's a system-wide issue for them. But we had a 65% delivery rate this week and almost 20% carrier block rate, which is crazy because it should
Huh.
be around 5% and it should be 75 to 80, as we know, for delivery. So
Yeah.
they're aware of the issue and they're working on it. It was a little bit scary when I switched this week and was like, okay, we're going all in on Smarter Contact. And then we had that happen. But
Yeah.
I'm still having faith that it's going to work. They do have other features in Smarter Contact that Launch Control doesn't have. I was working on Smarter Contact this week, and the phone was just ringing in the Smarter Contact app. So if I have it open on my desktop and somebody gets a text message and they want to talk to somebody about an offer, they call and it rings right in Smarter Contact, and I can push a button and just talk to the person. So that was kind of fun because I'd forgotten they had that feature because my acquisitions person always handles it and I'm never on there. But I was
Yeah.
on there working on our plan and stuff, and so I just picked up and talked to a couple sellers. So that's really cool. And they have RVM that you can drop from Smarter Contact, and they have some other features that Launch Control doesn't have. So the reason we switched is because our response rate in Launch Control has been really bad. It's been, from high single digits to low teens for the last month or two. And we've talked to them about it and we just couldn't get it fixed. And so we just were like, okay, well, it's working well in Smarter Contact and we're going over there. And that's what we
Yeah.
did. So, and then this is kind of speaks to the thing you were just talking about with the PPC people. I reached out to support, and on the plan we were on, we're supposed to have like dedicated support rep and all this, like it's one of the things that they tout of, like you have your own concierge VIP support or something. So I reached
Yeah.
out to them. It took them a while to get back to me. They didn't get back to me right away. And then when they did get back to me, they wanted to talk me out of downgrading my account. And it was very frustrating for me. And finally, I just said to the guy, hey, I get you're trying to do your job, but I've already made a decision. I'm downgrading. Don't make it hard on me. It's not good service, in my opinion, for you to make it hard for me to downgrade my account.
Yeah.
So that was like they wanted to tell me all the leads we had in the system and all the money we could make by following up and blah blah. Like we never look at KPIs ourselves, right? And I'm just like, we've already looked at the numbers. We've been monitoring this. We've talked with our rep a month ago, and gotten suggestions from them. We did a meetup with them, and we still haven't had improved results. We're moving on, for
Yeah.
now. So anyway, so that's the experience. So we have, Jasper's crushing it in launch, and I'm having good results in Smarter Contact. So I don't know something might have happened with our account where we're still, pardon me, it's getting hot here in North Carolina, um, where we're still somehow low key being flagged, or I don't know. We've worked on our templates. We've done a lot of different stuff. We're getting better results in Smart Contacts. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And that's the
Nice.
bottom line. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all for the SMS, right? Anything else about that?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, I don't know how the price compares with Smarter Contact, but just for anyone listening, if you guys are interested, either one is clearly a viable option. I think it's kind of just maybe market specific, maybe depends on the campaigns you're using. I don't know because I've had terrible results with them and I've had great results with them. Right now is about average, I would say. It's not horrible to make me cancel, but it's not great. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But like I said, the cost per lead is where I like it. So even though the response
Yeah.
rate isn't amazing, the cost per lead is still staying low for me. So that's what makes me make the ultimate decision. But yeah, if anyone's interested in signing up for either one, they're both good options. Like he said, if you're a one man
Yeah.
show,
And I can say regarding the price, it's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna I was gonna say if you're a one man show, I would probably recommend Smarter Contract. It sounds like it's better for all in one type platform where you can do your text, you can drop RVMs, you can answer the phone when they're calling back. Like Launch Control doesn't have those features. And yeah, so I guess I would say if you're a one man show, I think that sounds much better. Um, yeah, I guess the main benefit that launch control has is probably the drip campaigns and the follow-up campaigns. So if it's something where you have a lot of data and you're trying to make the most of that data, it might be slightly better. But I think just trying both out. Launch control, I think their cheapest plan right now is $600 a month, and then you can speak to the smarter contact.
Yeah, I think it's similar to Smarter Contact. I think Smarter Contact might be a little bit less price wise. I think it's like 400 to 500 for their lowest tier, and then the tier that I just upgraded to is called Elite 50K plus, so we can send 50K texts per month, and it's $1,200, and
Nice.
that includes all those features. So it's a little bit less than Launch Control, I think, for a comparable plan, and it has more features. They do have drips and follow up campaigns and Smarter Contact. My
Okay.
experience is that Launch Control's drips and follow ups are superior in just how you manage them and the user interface with that. But I find that the dashboard for Smarter Contact is a little bit better than Launch Control, just in terms of the individual leads and the notes you're able to make, and the stuff that gets pushed to CRM is better in the notes on Smarter Contact than it is on Launch Control. Just that whole
Yeah.
function of like making notes when you're talking to somebody, it all
Right.
gets pushed to CRM in a very organized way, and I like that too. So, but
I
I
see.
think maybe it's a little bit less for Smarter Contact, but fairly comparable price wise. But you do have, like Jasper said, if you're a startup or a one person operation, or the calling, it's like you have a dialer right in there. You can call out, you can take calls coming in, and that's really nice because if you're doing it yourself and you're doing the texting, and then somebody calls right away, you can pick it up and you're there. So that's
Yeah.
cool. And it's like one of the things that Matt Larson preaches is the quicker you get to warm leads, the better result you're going to have. So if you're texting with somebody and they call and you can pick up that call instantly, you're going to have better luck with potentially getting, a contract with them.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it on SMS. Still
All
the
right.
best cost per lead.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that's about a wrap on this week then. Do you have anything else you want to share?
No, I think we've covered a lot of territory here. Um, Grateful as always to the real estate business for the opportunity to make a lot of money and have some time freedom and flexibility doing so. That's really great.
Yeah.
Uh, Endless possibilities to learn, as we've seen. Uh, yeah, I guess. Well, I mentioned that subject to deal. Did I close that last week? I think I did. I broke that down. Yeah, we have
Yeah, you
more
did.
subject twos I can talk about in the future that are coming up. Uh,
Yeah, that's
so I'll
awesome.
report back on that. But yeah, yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I just pulled up real quick before we wrap up. This is not from this week, but I saved some of the Atomic Habits emails that I like. So Just real quick, I'll read through this. So this is an old Atomic Habits from James Clear for anyone interested. But three ideas. Number one, goals are for people who care about winning once. Systems are for people who care about winning repeatedly.
Hmm,
I think that's a great quote for anyone in business.
it's awesome.
Definitely speaks to myself for sure.
Yeah.
Number two, work hard. If results depend on effort, then you will carry yourself far. If results depend on effort and luck, then you will have done what you can to influence the outcome. And if results depend on luck alone, then the outcome is random, but you will have won the battle with yourself. I like that.
Hmm,
And then lastly, one version of confidence is I've got this figured out. Another version is I can figure this out. The first is arrogant and closed-minded. The second is humble and open-minded. Be humble about what you know and but confident about what you can learn.
nice.
Yeah, good one. So yeah, with that, that's a wrap. Thank you for anyone who listened this far. If you have anything you want us to touch on in future episodes, feel free to comment below. You can reach us both by name on Facebook, Jasper Cool and Mark Cool. And yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.
All right.